Welcome back to Reconstructing Gravity. Ted Cole again, and this is chapter G10 called Dark Space. And in this video, I'm going to postulate a new structure of space to address our space flow problems. Now, as you know, if you've watched my videos, I've already postulated that to make gravity work, space, which is a physical object, it's the medium that transmits light or energy. Space flows towards a mass at speeds matching the escape velocity function of that mass. This first postulate of gravity, which is that space moves towards masses at the escape velocity of that mass, has been very successful. It allowed correct, accurate calculation of gravitational time dilation. Also explained how and why masses drop at acceleration g in a gravity field using our constructive model from special relativity. Also consistent with the fact that the escape velocity of a black hole is the speed of light c. And also provided a means to calculate the bending of light by the gravity of the sun using a simple geometric foundation of Euclidean geometry without going into the complex curved Riemann geometry that Einstein used. I was able to get an answer very close to his calculation and very close to the correct answer for how the measured amount that light bends due to the solar gravity. So this postulation looks really good. But, as we've discussed previously, this escape velocity profile isn't compatible with a normal, in other words, constant flow rate scenario, such as the water flow in a tapered pipe. In the tapered water pipe scenario, we found that we had to let large amounts of water leak away in order to create the decreasing flow rate that we would need in order to elevate the velocity at large radii. Then we did that other thought experiment with the cube of space dropping in free fall and found that somehow the volume inside that cube had to actually get smaller. And we did a little calculus and found that the time change of flow rate, the flow rate had to diminish at a constant rate of 12 pi gm. And in order to be consistent with this escape velocity profile. Again, the fact that this escape velocity profile of moving space worked so well in so many gravity problem situations, that's what gave me confidence that there must be something to it. Space must be doing something unusual. We have all the space flowing towards large masses, but its flow rate must diminish along the way. Then, the space flows inside the planet and somehow disappears entirely. What can be going on? Our experience with science doesn't generally support concepts of magical disappearing acts. More likely, we expect some sort of transformation into a different form. I therefore propose an idea which I think is new. I suggest that the total volume of space is composed of two constituent parts. I'll call these light space and dark space. Light space is the mesh network that transmits light and energy at the speed of light c. Dark space is truly empty volume, inactive, inert. It does not interact with light or energy in any way. I did say up front that this gravity exploration would be more speculative than my special relativity project. But this light space, dark space idea came after I'd given much thought to other concepts. Please bear with me as I flesh it out more fully. For reasons that I'll present shortly, I propose that in any local region, light space and dark space fill equal volumes. They will always appear in balanced and equal proportion. Rather than imagining planets and stars and black holes as places where space disappears, we can imagine large masses and their gravity fields as regions where light space flowing towards the mass is transformed into dark space flowing away from the mass in equal amounts. The inward flow rate of light space can diminish while the outward flow rate of dark space increases. By the time light space gets to the center of the star or planet, it is 100% transformed into dark space. This certainly answers the question of where does it go, although we still need to discover why it flows towards and into masses. Here's an interesting idea, though. If masses in the universe transform light space into dark space, yet light space and dark space are everywhere in balanced proportion, then somewhere in the universe, more light space would need to be created to maintain that balance. Could this explain the expansion of the universe? We'll do some calculations on this, but quite a bit later. What might the structure of space look like on the finest scale? If we start thinking in 2 dimensions, I think of triangles. The equilateral triangle is the most fundamental 2-dimensional object, and it can fill an infinite plane. You might think of squares. They can also fill an infinite plane. But squares are not as stable, and if you add stability, you're back to triangles. In 3 dimensions, the tetrahedron is the most fundamental structure. Can the tetrahedron also fill space? The answer is no, it cannot. Previously, my intuition told me that an array of tetrahedrons could fill space, similar to the way equilateral triangles can fill a plane. But my intuition was wrong. Let's take a look. If you try to build with just tetrahedra, you soon find that it doesn't work. You can't build a large structure with just tetrahedra. But you can stack tetrahedra like this, touching just at their vertices, never face to face. This arrangement of tetrahedra can be extended indefinitely and can fill all space. But let's take a closer look at this. I've built the same stack out of 4 tetrahedra, but I've changed the colors now. We can see that there's another volume inside these 4 tetrahedron that is not a tetrahedron. It's that orange shape in there. And by removing all the tetrahedra around it, we can see that it's an octahedron. Now, the octahedron is a very interesting object. Eight equilateral triangles arranged together, and six vertices, 8 faces. But you look at it from another dimension, and I'll change the colors here. It can also be seen as 4 squares in perpendicular planes to each, all mutually perpendicular planes, stabilizing each other. It's a very interesting object. Now ask this question: what are the relative volumes of the tetrahedron and the octahedron? Well, setting the edge length as a, the volume of the octahedron is a cubed times the square root of 2 over 3, and the volume of the tetrahedron is a cubed times the square root of 2 over 12. So the octahedron has 4 times the volume of the tetrahedron. In our original pyramid, we had 4 tetrahedron and 1 octahedron in the center. This 4-to-1 ratio is also true if you fill all of space with the octahedron-tetrahedron structure. With 4 times as many tetrahedrons, but octahedrons being 4 times larger in volume, that would mean that light space and dark space would equally fill half the total geometric volume of the universe. Light space is still the medium that transmits energy and light. The dark space can be seen as the true void, the passive filler of volume, or the space between the space. Again, this is speculation, but it would give us a way to resolve our flow problems. Let me then restate all my postulates for a physical model of special relativity and gravity. Postulates. Number 1, matter is composed entirely of energy, which always travels at uniform speed c through its local space. 2, the energy in matter maintains some harmonious, repeating pattern of motion. 3, space is composed of locally equal volumes of 2 components, active light space and passive or inert dark space. 4, light space, the energy medium, moves towards masses at the escape velocity function of the mass. Well, I'll stop there for today. I've got a lot more coming on gravity, but thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and or comment, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.